What's going on, guys? West Indies are in the country for the test series, 3-match test series against England. The Wisden Trophy is on the line. And today we're going to go through and preview the test series. But before that, we need to get into some real nitty gritty. And it ain't good. It ain't pretty. It's pretty damning, if we're going to be honest. But very, very necessary as far as West Indies cricket is concerned. Guys, before we go any further, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video, and of course, leave your comments below. Before I get onto the real damning thing, I'm just going to list out the test squad to just get the video going. And then we're going to delve off on a bit of a tangent, but a very important tangent, and we're going to come back to the test series. So the test squad for the 3-match series, for at least the first match anyway. Jason Holder, captain. Jermaine Blackwood, Nkrumah Bonner, Craig Brathwaite, Shamra Brooks, John Campbell, Roston Chase, Rakeem Cornwall, Shane Dowrich, Shannon Gabriel, Shemar Holder, Shea Hope, Alzari Joseph, Raymond Reefer, and Kemar Roach. That's the 15-man squad. There's a lot more on tour with us. We had a couple warm-up games, inter-squad warm-up games. In preparation for the series. So there's a lot more to choose from, but those are the 15 that they're going with for the first test. We'll see how it goes. Before we get into that though, as you can see, the title of the video, Michael Holding exposes the West Indies Cricket Board. And it ain't pretty, I tell you, because anyone that's followed West Indies like I have all my life, we know that a lot of the issues that have occurred within West Indies cricket, let's say in the last 20 years, probably longer, but let's say the last 20 years, a lot of it goes far beyond the players and a lot to do with the board members, and some might say corruption within the West Indies Cricket Board. Some just say mismanagement, incompetence. So Michael Holding did a video. I'll put a link in the description below. Michael Holding did a video with Asif Khan on the channel Mikey holding nothing back, something along those lines. And he speaks about a report, an audit that was done in 2019. I think it was September 2019, I could be wrong, but 2019 anyway, the audit was done after the new West Indies Cricket Board came into power. So Ricky Skerritt became the head of the new West Indies Cricket Board in March 2019. Yeah, March 2019, replacing Dave Cameron. And then again, anyone that knows Dave Cameron and his board and what they were doing, West Indies Cricket Board has been called out on numerous occasions by players, ex-players, and fans alike, because it has been completely mismanaged and really hold much fault for where West Indies cricket is at the moment. So an audit was done by the new board to analyse where West Indies had gone wrong in the past, what the issues were with West Indies cricket and the previous board, and of course what to rectify. So the report was called the Business Situation Assessment and Financial Review. The results came out in January 2020, but they've never been released. Nobody's ever seen this report, or nobody in the public has ever seen this report. Michael Holding brings out 3 points of a 60-page report, so just 3 points that highlights some of the issues that the auditors picked up. So this is not even him speaking, it's the auditors picked up these issues that should be addressed within West Indies Cricket Board. It says, and I'll read it as it was reported. The auditors became aware of several matters where the things were done in the best interest of West Indies. And that's always been the question. Who's making these certain decisions? Why are these decisions being made? Who is it in benefit of? And that's what the auditor said. Were these things done in the best interest of West Indies? Not you as an individual, not a regional board over here. The best interest for West Indies. The first one. 2018, Cricket West Indies received funds of $130,000 from sponsors on behalf of Dominica Cricket Association from an offshore third party. The auditors say they're unclear why it didn't go directly to Dominica Cricket Association. West Indies, or Cricket West Indies, the board, acted as a financial conduit in this matter. And the financial report says they were paid to Dominica Cricket Association over 3 payments. The concerns are the source of these funds, where they've come from. Are they legitimate? What due diligence was done to ensure that there was no criminal activity involved in the acquiring of those funds? And the auditors said they were unable to find any executed agreement for this transaction. So you've got things happening under the table. This is a official cricket board for professional sport, and you've got transactions happening without official written agreement, or at least that they can provide. It looks like things are happening under the table. That's one. Number 2, a private loan was given to St. Lucian international business companies of $125,000 in December 2013. It wasn't given by West Indies Cricket Board. So why did it appear on the West Indies Cricket financial statement? What does this have to do with the West Indies? These are the questions that Michael Holden's asking. He questions whether there are shareholders within Cricket West Indies who are also within St. Lucia IBC. It's very, very unclear. It's very murky. These transactions are happening and no names are being put to it. There's no accountability to where these funds are coming from, who these funds are given to, and what the purpose of these funds are. And the third point he brings out says in September 2018, a HR committee member proposed to Cricket West Indies a change management program, which he would facilitate himself at the cost of $135,000. This was discussed at a board meeting and rejected due to the high cost and cash flow problem. As we know, West Indies ain't got no money to be affording, so I understand why it was rejected. He then proposed in a private meeting with 2 West Indies officials, running this program over 3 phases at the total cost of $180,000. So that is $45,000 more than the original, but split over 3 phases, 1 for staff, 1 for team management, and 1 for players at a cost of $60,000 each. There was no signed agreement. It wasn't approved by the board. Yet this program started. Who authorized it? Who authorized first the payment, which actually in the end amounted to $35,000 before the new West Indies board came in and halted the program as they were doing their audit and an assessment of everything going on in Cricket West Indies. But who were the 2 members of the board or the 2 members of Cricket West Indies who authorized this program to start, despite it being rejected by the board and it not going back to the board for unilateral or universal agreement? So they've broken the protocol necessary to get their approval for this program, yet they went ahead with the program already. Will Cricket West Indies be looking for compensation for the $35,000 that they spent? Will the 2 board members who approved it without the approval of the whole board, will they be named and shamed as they should be? Too much has happened in West Indies cricket. Too much has happened. We talk about selection, we talk about mishandling of funds, the reinvestment of money into the grassroots of West Indies cricket. And these 3 points, and this is 3 points of a 60-page document. Michael Holding says he goes through every page and there's just more and more and more questions being asked. But the question that we ask is, why is this report not being published? Why is the people of the West Indies not able to see how the board and the players, etc., that are representing the people, are they representing the people in the best possible way? Or are they just representing themselves? Are they just there to benefit themselves? Why is this being kept a secret? Now, the new board, I think there was an interview that one of them did on live TV and stated that the reason why they haven't gone public with the publishing the report is that it was a confidential report. It was just done for their own benefit to see the state of West Indies cricket. Well, Michael Holding argues and says that as much as they may claim to be a private limited company, which is registered in, I can't even remember where it is, Cayman Islands, I can't remember where they're registered. They can't be a private limited company if there's 6 board members, which are the regional boards of the other Caribbean islands, are all public. So all your shareholders are public companies, but your company itself is private. Now, I'm no legal expert, but Michael Holding's convinced that no make it. That don't run. If all your board members are public, you are a public company. Therefore, these reports, and this damning report, as he reads it, should be made public for all to see. But this is just another, and even with a new board in place, it's just another example of how the wool is being pulled over many of West Indies fans' eyes. All of those who are stakeholders in West Indies cricket. Things are happening behind closed doors with no accountability. You've done this report for your own good, cool. We want some answers because we've had to suffer for how many years under this regime. Yes, we're not the cricketers, but we're the fans. And we're suffering under that regime because they're managing the team we support, the countries we support. And when you see players like Gale, Sammy, Dwayne Bravo, even Darren Bravo, come out and speak about the board, and the board have the audacity to either punish or reprimand or respond to them, how dare they? When really, these are valid questions and valid attacks that they are receiving from the players because they haven't been acting in the best interest of West Indies cricket and therefore have not been acting in the best interest of the players. There was a time when I thought, yeah, these players are selfish. They're going out, you know, they just want to play T20, earn their money, don't care about the West Indies. But when you're playing under that kind of regime, who are there for their own self-gratification and to fill their own pockets, and I'm saying this, I don't blame them for not wanting to go on tour when maybe there's money to be earned in IPL. When the money that you're going to be earning on tour, are you being fairly compensated for that? Who's the money going to? Where's the money going? Is it being reinvested in West Indies cricket? I don't blame them. And it's been in the last few years where I said, no, I've stopped blaming the players because new players have come, young players, new batches come, and it's the same issue over and over again. And the only constant is the West Indies Cricket Board. So you have to look at the problem. And finally on this, it's probably the worst. When you consider West Indies were the greatest team of all time at one point, were probably the greatest team of all time, the 1980 West Indies team. Most feared, most revered. This last one is damning. Now, in 2000, Michael Holden states, in 2014, $500,000, $500,000, was donated to Cricket West Indies from the BCCI, the Board of Cricket Control for India, to be given to past players. Michael Holden says, well, I'm a past player. Now, this is Michael Holden's word. I'm not saying that I want this money, but I speak to a lot of past players. And I have never heard about any money from the BCCI via Cricket West Indies given to these past players. Never heard it. And additionally, he says that if they had donated this money, this was back in 2013, by the way, if they had donated this money, the cricket board would have made sure the whole world knew about the 500,000 they were giving to past players. We ain't seen that, and Michael Holden ain't heard of anyone receiving this money. So the question is, what has happened to that $500,000? That is the question. And that is the question for a lot of what has happened to, or what is the reason for, or the source of all the monies that is passing through West Indies Cricket Board, and we ain't seeing results on the other side. The grassroots game is terrible compared to how it was in the past. The results of the first team is terrible compared to how it was in the past. We've seen small green shoots of recovery from time to time. 2 T20 wins here, a test win there, an ODI ICC championship win here. We've seen green shoots of recovery. But in the end, it all collapses, all falls flat in its face, and every generation that comes through has to rebuild from the bottom up again. How bad is the management structure that we can't have steady progression year on year? So I'm happy things have changed. I'll tell you that for a fact. I am so happy that old board was out and the new board's come in. But I would like to, and I've seen good things from the new boards since they've come in. But I really, really want to know why they are refusing to make this report public. Is it because there's current members of Cricket West Indies who are indicted in this report? Because if it's a new board, the questions that are being asked in this report, or the concerns that are being brought to life, are not your fault, unless some of those members are still in and they can't answer the question. So I'm saying for me, and I know I've been reading the comments of a lot of the YouTube videos on social media, and the West Indies fans, we want to see this report. We want to know what has gone wrong in West Indies cricket and who needs to be held accountable. And I think it's only right that this board makes that public. Guys, I didn't want to be too down in this video, but as I said, it's a damning report and it had to be addressed. Speaking of the test series itself, as I said, we're over here in England now. We played 2 warm-up games and a few runs were scored from some of the key batsmen, and some batsmen who are up and coming, the likes of De Silva. I want to say Joshua De Silva, is that his name? The wicketkeeper from Trinidad, wicketkeeper batsman. And there's been a few others. So it was a, barring the rain, decent little warm-up games. And I'm looking forward to the test series. We ain't had a test, any cricket for ages, for months, since the start of the year. I'm not going to come out and say I'm confident. I mean, we hold the series, we hold the trophy after beating England, thumping them, to be honest. We beat them 2-1 in the series overall last time in the Caribbean, but the first 2 results were a beating, a battering. We had that series won before the last match. The lineup I will go with now, as I said, from the 15, I think for me it kind of picks itself. We've got a few players there who are young and a bit more inexperienced. So I think I'm comfortable for them not to come directly into the team. I think the only discussion is about the balance of the team. How many fast bowlers, how many spinners, which spinners, that kind of question, rather than the majority of the individuals. So personally, I'll go John Campbell and Craig Brathwaite to open. I'll have Shea Hope coming in at 3. Blackwood in at 4. Chase at 5. Dowrich at 6. Holder at 7. Now the 3 fast bowlers I'm having is Gabriel Roach and Joseph. So they'll be 9, 10, 11. The number 8 position is a tricky one, because I'm thinking Raheem Cornwall. Now we know over here spinners aren't massive threats in these English conditions. So it's possible that they could go with Shema Holder instead of Raheem Cornwall and have Chase as the lone spinner. And if I'm correct, Jermaine Blackwood can also spin the ball as well. But you have Chase as the main spinner and 4 fast bowlers plus Holder, the all-rounder. That could be an option, but you know what? I'll be surprised. I think they will trust the 3 fast plus Holder as the seam bowling attack, and have Cornwall as the main spinner and Chase as well. Especially when we get to Old Trafford. I think 2 of the second and third tests are both at Old Trafford, and Old Trafford is generally known to, out of all the English wickets, or the traditional ones anyway, to take spin the most, especially going into, I think the Oval does all right as well, but I think Old Trafford generally has done well for spinners over the years. So Southampton, maybe they'll go with a 4-pronged attack plus Holder and then Chase as the spinner. But I think by the time they get to Manchester, I think they'll definitely have a spinner in that match. But Roach, obviously leader of the attack. Joseph, he is a massive talent. And it's good to see Gabriel back, because initially he wasn't in the squad. They had a 14-man squad. And I think they were giving time for either Gabriel to be fit, to prove his fitness, or bring in O'Shane Thomas. But I think with the experience and, you know, what he's proved so far, Gabriel, and that pace he has. And to be fair, he was decent in the 2 warm-up games. So he proved the fitness in those games there. So I'm confident, I'm happy that he has been selected. The batting does concern me. Yeah, the batting concerns me because Darren Bravo didn't travel. Shimron Hetmeyer didn't travel. And Kemal Paul didn't travel. And he would have been a very good option, especially the bowler in these conditions, but as a low order batsman as well. He's 85 miles max an hour, but he does seam the ball and swing the ball as well. So he would have been very good in these conditions. But the batting concerns me. Blackwood, we always got talent. I don't even talk about the talent. We always got talent in these squads. But a lot of these are unproven. Brathwaite and Hope are both proven in these conditions. Everyone else has to prove themselves in these conditions. They really do. Blackwood has to prove himself. Campbell, Chase, Dowrich, they didn't have great tours the last time they came over here. Blackwood wasn't too bad, but they didn't have great tours when they come over here. They've done better since, but they need to come over here in conditions which are generally seamer friendly and prove that they can hack it. So the batting, it concerns me. It really does. And whilst I think the bowling will take care of itself and will pick up the 20 wickets, because England, squad, I'm not threatened by it, but we need to get runs on the board. We need to be looking to score like 300 minimum. And I do really fear if we can cope with the likes of Anderson, Archer, Broad, Wilkes, Wood. I do fear that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not confident we're gonna win the series, but I think it's possible we can get a draw out of it. We may need some rain. We had some rain in the second warm-up game. We might need some rain to get a draw here or there, but if we can win one test, I think we can retain the series and retain the trophy, the Wisden Trophy. But yeah, I think my biggest concern of the squad, as I said, is the batting, but it's also the selection. And I've said this before, Shimon Hetmyer, great talent, great talent. Probably the most talented batsman we have. His head is all over the place when he gets into bat. And that's what his downfall is more often than not. His shot selection, knowing when and what shot to do, his running between the wickets is usually what cost him as opposed to his batting ability. Shai Hope, I think he's a brilliant, talented batsman as well. And he can score big hundreds. Craig Brathwaite, I like his mental application. He needs to make sure he get off to a good start and keep the runs ticking over. He tends to stay at the crease for a long period, a long time, but he sometimes gets bogged down and doesn't score many runs, when even if he got picked up at 2 or 3 and over, by the length of time you're at the crease, you would have a considerable amount of runs on the pitch, so on the board. So he needs to keep that ticking over. But the omission of Nicholas Pooran concerns me and worries me, because it's very much a throwback to how we used to do things. We used to pigeonhole these batsmen, or just players in general, pigeonhole them as ODI cricketers or T20 cricketers. And that was it. So your aim is to go out there, pinch hit, go to the top, try and get 6, and if it don't work out, cool, whatever. You don't learn the game like that. But I've seen enough from Nicholas Pooran in 50-over cricket to say this man is a test cricketer. He can play 50 over, he can play T20, because he can hit the ball big, but he's got a good, solid technique. He gets his eye in very, very quickly. He keeps the score ticking over without taking any risk, but he can also score quick and go big. He strikes there's probably not a clean, no, there isn't. There's no striker cleaner. There's no cleaner striker of the ball in our team, in our squad, than Nicholas Pooran. Yet he's not even in the squad. He's not even in the travelling party. Why have they pigeonholed him as a limited over cricketer? I said this when they gave out the central contracts. They gave him a limited over contract, white ball contract, and not a test. And I'm like, the man is a test cricketer. He has got all the ability and all the technique and the mentality, because I've seen him come in sticky situations in ODI cricket and bat our team out of trouble, keep the score ticking over, and then score runs quickly. He's got everything in his game. He really does. And I really, really hope that we see him in Test cricket soon. Obviously, I want the players in the position to do well, but I believe he's better and to somewhat more proven than some of the cricketers, some of the batsmen we've got in the squad and in the travelling party. I hope we're not doing this thing where we pigeonhole these batsmen into certain forms of cricket. Like the fact that you're going to have Hetmyer as a choice in Test cricket and not Pooran makes no sense. Both of them, Hetmyer is probably more extravagant and more loose than Pooran. Yet you're allowing Hetmyer to play all forms of the game and you're limiting Pooran to limited over cricket. So I hope that changes very, very soon. Very talented batsman. And I think if I saw him in the squad, for example, it will make things much, much easier. But I tell you what, it means that Chase, Dowrich and Holder need to score runs. They need to be looking to getting half centuries. They can't be coming in and getting 20 and keep it moving, because the batting ain't deep. It really isn't. So they need to be playing like the batsman. Holder needs to be a batting all-rounder on this tour. If anything, he's batting too low because the responsibility there isn't what it should be. Maybe he should be at 6 and Dowrich at 7, and that really gives the strength in the batting that I'm looking for. But I just need those three. Chase, even if he's the main spinner in a match, Dowrich as a wicketkeeper and Holder as all-rounder, they need to be making runs. They need to set a target. I think Chase already set a target of scoring a century or a couple centuries. Holder and Dowrich need to be setting the targets. What do they want their average to be for the series? Because the batting ain't looking too strong right now. Couple questions here from Sammy. Says, what's your beef with Hetmyer? Go easy on the kid. Listen, I like Hetmyer. And the reason why I'm so harsh on him is because I know he's so talented and I want the best for him. I've seen talent pass through West Indies and underachieve, and I really don't want it for him. So for the best of West Indies cricket, they need to be harsh on him. They need to really get into his head that you can't just go out and give away your wickets, because you, like Chris Gale was, you are a big wicket for teams, especially in ODI, because they know you can score quick and you can score big. And if you stay at the crease for any length of period, a lot of runs will be scored. So I'm harsh because I rate him. If I wasn't harsh, I'll be telling him to get out. Like I was saying to Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name. I have to respect him in it because he won us that T20. And he nearly won us the ODI against New Zealand. Big up Carlos Brathwaite for your energy and that. But I'm harsh because I rate him very, very highly. Second question, should we have travelled to the UK for this tour? And if it was the other way around and we're in the Caribbean, had so many cases, do you think England will come down here? No, I don't think England would have come. I think the reason why we're more, why we feel the need to come is probably financial. We know, I spoke about earlier, but we know the issues with West Indies cricket in terms of financially and keeping players and, you know, keeping the regional tournament running, etc., etc. So I think the reason why we rushed to come here is a financial decision. I think it is safe, to be fair, considering football's back, etc. But if it was the other way around, England wouldn't be rushing, especially because they know they'll get beat up in the West Indies like they did last time. So they definitely wouldn't be rushing to get another arse whooping. But I think West Indies aren't in a really position where we can afford for this series not to go ahead. So that's the only difference here. But you know, I pray that we can we have a successful tour, and we can retain the Wisdom Trophy at the end. As I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below all your thoughts on everything we discussed, and I'll see you all soon. Rally, 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 West Indies.